So welcome to BISP Solution. The webinar title Get Started with Oracle Supply Chain and Manufacturing. So let's move to the next slide. So today's agenda topic is item class, then item, then copy item and multiply the item creation. So that is the today's agenda on day 6. So let's move to the next slide. So the item class are created under the root item class or with a parent item class, and it inherits the values based on the selected made when defining the item class. So let me log into the application now. So to create and manage item class and user defined attributes and data security usage, the manage item class task in the setup and maintenance. From the navigator we will navigate to enterprise, my enterprise, setup and maintenance, work area. Select our setup as offering as a product management, and in the functional area select the item and search with the task name called item class. So that is the item class, that item classes, select that. So so in that particular one, so if you see out here, all the items are created. The root is the class, right? So that is the Oracle provides the root class. Apart from that, other classes are created as it is in a demo application. The items are created. You can define the item class in the hierarchy where the child level indicator is sub level. If you see this particular one, so you can define the item class in the hierarchy where the child level indicates the sub level or a type of a parent item class. All items are created within an item class. The item class hierarchy can be used to control the process of some level of hierarchies. So you can see out here the item. So in the root item, so if you see, I have already created a one item, that is computer, the desktop and the desktop green, right? So if you see out here, the computer, the desktop and the desktop, out here the green desktop, right? So that is the desktop where the item creation allowed is enabled. So we can create the item under that. So that is, if I select this one, the computer, so you can view from here the computer, the item class is the computer. Under the computer, that is the desktop, and then under the desktop you got a something called green desktop. So we will create the item under the green desktop, and when we select this particular computer, the item creation allowed, we should not check it out. And if you select this particular under that, the desktop, also we will not allow any item to be created under this particular one. And we select when we select the green out here, let me go to this particular one. If I select this one, that is a green, so you can see the item creation allowed. So when you're creating item class, remember to specify the API name. Avoid any generic name like item or item category. Distinct name helps ensure that the rules run without any rules runs without any error. It recommends not to create more than 1000 item classes, and maximum depth of item class hierarchy should be 15. If planning to add BPM rule in your workflow approvals, limit the number of the item class to 300. If creating a large number of item classes, deploy extensible flex fields incrementally. Also, before creating a lower level class, ensures that the attribute groups and attribute are associated with the high level class, as changes to the high level class results in the redeployment of low level class. For example, you can see in this the desktop item class as a child of a computer item class, and both of them set as not allowed item creation. The green desktop, and we will create a game desktop, so they are item type of item that belongs to a desktop category and are allowed to be created as an item. If needed, you can specify the date when the item type becomes inactive, and the inactive date for the particular item type must not be in past and must be earlier than the inactive date of its parent item type. Additionally, if the parent item type has an inactive date, all its child item type must also be made inactive at the same time or earlier. So point to be noted that the product development not supported the version for this item type. So move to the application. So we will create a one under this particular class. So let me create, so let us create under this, select that, and we will create the item. So that will be our gaming desktop. Save and add details. So create item allowed out here, and it should be enabled out. So parent is my desktop and the description of that particular parent. Go to the item management. So how you want to generate the number, so you can see the item generation method. So it inherited from the parent. If you want to inherit from the parent, if you are defined out there in the item organization, then it will pick that particular one. Or rule generation is there, then it will take a rule out here. You have to define the rule, and then you can have a sequence generation, that if you want a sequence generation, then it will follow with the sequence. Or user define, if the user wants to define the item, then user definition will be there. So if you select the parent out here, then you have to provide the sequence if it is an inheritant, or you can define the sequence out here. So that sequence number will take from here. So I don't want that, and I want to create sequence generation. So sequence, I will start with the sequence as a, let's take a, that's the number that will start, and the prefix, it should start with GD. Let's give the GD, and the incremental by 1. I don't want any suffix. How the description should be generated, so I select as a user defined, so we can define our description out there. So if you want to define the workflow details, you can go and define the workflow out here, and go to the security out here in the security tab. So let's select that security tab. So add. So if you select the group out here, so select your, I would select a product, the product data steward, and out here I will select my ABC. Let me search with the ABC. So this will be my child values, right? So it will be my child values. I will associate with my child values. Select that. So this is the association and with the starting date. And let me add out here. Search. Select all the actions. Apply. OK. So you can see out here the creations, the data steward with the action what he can do. So these are the action he can perform. He can create, he can delete the items, right? So that is data level. So go to the transaction attributes, and you can go to the life cycle phases. These are the phases: design, production, active, and obsolete. So these are the various phases are there. So let me, and these are the templates out here. So you can provide the template. So if you see out here, query with that, our template has been associated. Let's say ABC. Let me search. There we are. So that is the template which is associated with it. Okay, so that it is associated, we will use while creating our item. These templates are get associated. So let's save and close. So if you see, the one is the gaming desktop, another one is the green desktop, right? So that two desktops are there under the desktop. If I select the computer, so if you select the computer, you can see the computer out here. The item will not create in this desktop. The item will not create, but it will be grouped under that, and you can create the items under this gaming desktop and the green desktop. So let's move to the PPT now. So that is the item classes, how we can create the item classes. So moving to the next slide, that is item lifecycle phases are used to indicate for stage of item within the lifecycle process. Each phase represent a set of tasks, deliverables that are required before the promoting the item to the next phase. Each item must have life cycle phase associated with it. The 4 cycle phases are predefined in the application, that is design, pre-production or prototype, the production, and obsolete. You can use the predefined phases type or to create a new value of a life cycle phases. Company can use different terms to describe the same item life cycle phase. For example, the phase name production and in the manufacturing both refers to life cycle phase during which the item can be used to build and ship product. Life cycle phase are associated with item class. The item is an item class can be assigned to any of the life cycle phases associated with that item class. The life cycle phase of a child item is not automatically promoted when the parent item is promoted. The best practice is to make the item effective on approval if they are in the design lifecycle phase. Before creating or importing item, create lifecycle phase, assign the phase to the item class, use the create item. You can assign them to the parent item class of the item class used to create the item. When an item is assigned to lifecycle phase, that phase is visible as a part of item attributes. In the item structure, the lifecycle phase are used to control specific process. Effective date in the design lifecycle phase. The effective date for item in the design lifecycle phase can't be modified. If the item is in a design lifecycle phase, the item on the change order is effective on approval. If a future effective date is set for a affected object in the change order, a warning message appears. To continue with the future effective date, edit to change, cancel the current and save the action, and return to edit mode and correct the future effective date. Change the life cycle phase in the product information management area. You can change the life cycle phase directly onto the item or assigning it to the change order for the commercial item. In the production development work area, you can change the life cycle phase of an item by assigning it to the change order. Now navigate from the navigator to the product management and product information management. So go to the product management, the product information management out here. So we will create item. From here, from the task panel, the create item. The create single or multiple item and apply predefined templates. You can do so. The creating the single item. When creating an item, start by providing basic information such as master organization, number of items and item class. Then select the template provided to require the attributes and optionally specify the flex field. If you use the Oracle Product Hub, you can specify the extensible flex field to capture the attributes at the different level. While creating the item in your user interface, you can optionally define the item structure and assign the organization creation relationship, assign the category, catalog categories and attachment. So let's select our master item, that is ABC master, and the creation is new, and the number of item we are selecting 1. The item class, we will select our item class that we have created. So that is, we created a gaming, right? Yeah. So gaming desktop. So that is the gaming desktop. Let me select the template from here, that is seeded one, and you can create your own template. So we will take one purchasing template to selected list out here. So create the item under the item class as gaming desktop. So we provided the item starting with the GD, right? So that GD will be generated. We will provide the description out here. The item status will put as an active. You can provide the life cycle. I said the life cycle as an active out here, and let us provide the description. Let's say computer, say Mac book Air 13 inches, right? So that is the name we are giving, the MacBook, and it is under the gaming. Item class is under the gaming desktop. And the pack, what will be the pack? It is a based as a based unit or each. So I select that pack type as a based unit and each, and you can see the approval as approved, and you can see the created by fin admin, and that creation timestamp is coming. You can provide the long date, or you can provide a formatted one here. So if you select let me provide this one, it's a mandate field, you can see. So let's select that, say each as a quantity, and you can provide the long description with a format. So you can say a MacBook Air, whether it's description you can provide. So let me open a MacBook 13 with that. So let me take from MacBook 13, let's take a scenario. So you can say this is the customize your so you can provide the details, right? So that kind of a detail you can provide, hardware chip, other details you can provide. So you can provide this details with the CPU. Let's provide this one, right? So select this one, so that is the two are there. So MacBook 13, so let me close this one. So Midnight is the model, MacBook Midnight. Right, so you can provide that in the middle out here. So you can bold that particular one, say okay. So you can see the MacBook Midnight, and you can provide the long description also. So that long description you can provide, that is MacBook Midnight, and out here the description related to these are the description you can provide. Okay, so out here the each, and you can add the pics related to that. So you can add one. So from here browse, so you can browse from here, or you can put the URL, you can put the URL. So with the URL, it will be a URL related to that, and if it's a URL, select that, it will pick the URL, or you can download that. If you download, save this image in your desktop, you can upload that. So let's give that particular one, so you can see the desktop out here, desktop files. Let me provide in this particular Midnight. Let me give this as a file. So browse that particular file. So select that particular file out here, that is, here we are, open that, say okay. So this, the pic has been provided. So go to the specification out here, just a minute. So go to the specification out here. So let me go to this purchasing, since we had taken the purchasing tab out here. So in the purchasing specification you can see the purchased. So when it indicates whether the purchase and the receive an item. Tuning this option lets you set the purchasable attributes, and if the item is vendor managed you must select this option. Of use of a supplier, users approval supplier, it indicates whether to use only the approved supplier. So if you select that, only approved supplier you can use. And negotiation required. Now negotiation required, it indicates whether the negotiation is required, either yes and no you will provide. And then there is a purchasable, right? So it indicates whether the order an item on the purchase order, you can set this only when the purchase is enabled. Now moving to the allow purchase document. So in the purchase document it enables the item description to update the purchase description updates, purchase orders, and in the taxable indicates whether the supplier charge a tax or default buyer. The default buyer enters the buyer assigned to purchase an item. And hazardous class, in the hazardous class uses the hazardous class to identify the category of hazardous material for an international trade purpose. And in the input tax classification code, so input tax classification code, in that select the appropriate tax code for the item. The tax code shown the tax authority and the rate that are available used for this item. You must select the taxable attributes to enable this field. Issue of the unit, if you see the issue of the unit, so the enter the unit measures typically issue in the item for the inventory. So let us select that. When we issue that, it will be each. So you can select that issue of the unit. If it is the asset category, you can define the asset category out here. So let me search this, and so that is my desktop, computer desktop. Say okay. So let me go to this asset category, and invoice close tolerance, receipt close that is your, it's a invoice close tolerance out here, that is a percentage out here, right? So that is a invoice closed tolerance, that is enters the percentage of tolerance to automatically close the purchase order on the shipment. So if you want that, you can select this percentage out here. The close the invoices status change only, you can invoice the match additional item against the shipment later. So UN number, it enters the United Nations identification number, that is UN number, used to identify specific material, that is hazardous material, for example, for international trade purposes. So go to the pricing, so you can see the pricing, the list price, that is a price out here. So I will say the purchase price as $1,000, and the percentage or price that will be the entered, the value of used as a default price on the purchase order, requisition, RFQs, or quotation. So when you're performing the inventory replenishment, a list of price must be specified in order to automatically generate the requisition. So price tolerance, in the price tolerance entered in the price tolerance percentage, maximum price percentage over the normal price range for an item. For example, if your tolerance percentage is 5, the maximum acceptable price on the purchase order is 5% over the requisition price. Any purchase order price is 5% above the requisition price is unacceptable and you can't approve the purchase order. And then there is a market price. So enter the market price value for the item. Attribute isn't currently used, so let me provide that as a 12,000. So market price out here, so that is, you can blank. And round factor, that is rounding factor. They enter the number between 0 to 1. It's a factor determines how to rounding the quantity on the internal requisition that request from the conversion between the requisition line unit of measurement and item unit of issue. This factor ensures that the unit of issue resolves to an integer rather than a fraction amount. So let me rounding factor to a 0 out here. So under the outside processing item, the outside processing indicates whether you can add the item to the outside processing purchase order line. You can select these option only if the purchase is selected. And invoice matching. So invoice matching, you can see the level out here, that is 2-way, 3-way and 4-way matching is there, and there is a null, right? So there is a null. If you don't want that matching rules to be in this item level, so you will not provide that. If you want in the item level, you can select the 4-way matching out here with the inspection. So I will select as a 4-way matching. And the matching options. So what is the matching options? So there is indicates the invoice match used value can be as on receipt or in order. I will select on the receipt. Now selecting the receipt routing. So receipt routing indicates the routing of an item at the time of receipt. So that is at the time of receipt it will be inspection. Since I selected the level as a 4, I will select the routing method as inspection, and it will enforce the location, whether the enforce the location out here. So enforce the location selects the options the control whether the supplier can deliver the location differ from the shipment to location defining on the purchase order. None is basically no shipment location enforce. Reject prevent the receipt on of an item not received to their purchase order shipped to location. And the warning, display warning the message if you attempt to receive the item to the location that differs from the purchase order shipped to location but perform the receipt anyway. So I will select out here the none out here. And the receipt date, so let me go to the receipt action date out here. So indicates the action to be performed when the receive date is outside the range. So what will be the options are there? So choices are none, that is no receipt date exception enforced. Reject, the rejection receipt when the receive date is outside the range defined by the days. So early receipt allows or day or say days late receipt allows. Warning, display the warning message if you attempt to receive the item outside the range defined by the days. Say earlier receipt allow or the days late receipt allows but performs the receipt anyway. So I will select the warning out here. So day earlier, enter the number of days before the promise date you can receive the item without warning or rejection. Or example, if you enter 3 and promise date is Friday, you can receive the item on Tuesday, right? So I will say early days as a 7 and the late days as a 2 days, right? So 2 days will be the late days, and the 2 days late days, for example, if you have a 2 days, the promise date is a Monday, you can receive the item up to the Wednesday. And if I select that as a validation transaction, so that validation transaction, that is allow substitute receipt. So in this indicates whether the allow the receipt. So if you yes, whether you want to allow the receipt of defined substitute of the place in that item, or define the valid substitute with the item relationship window. The leave the blank space if you want the inventory to value define the receiving option window for transaction involving this item. So I am leaving the blank out here. Allow unordered receipt, it indicates whether you can receive the item without purchase order. If this option is on, you can match the receipt to the appropriate purchase order. If this option is off, all receipts for any item must have been correspondence purchase order, and leaving the blank if you want to use the defined receiving option window for the transaction involving with this item. So I am leaving the blank out here. Allow express transaction, so indicates whether you can deliver the distribution. So that is distribution, allowing distribution for the item with one data entry transaction if the quantity to the level is equals the purchase order line balance. If the option is clear, you must deliver the individual distribution separately. Leave this blank if you want the inventory will to use the value defined in the receiving option window for the transaction involved with this item. So I am leaving the blank out here. Now last in the action out here, the action in the over receipt control. So if you see, this indicates the performance whether the received date is outside the range defined in the quantity received tolerance. So retrieve tolerance none over the tolerance in force, no over tolerance is in force, reject receipt over the tolerance quantity, and a error message display you to prevent from receiving the quantity exceeding the order quantity by more than a quantity received tolerance percentage. Then there is a warning. The warning, a message display if you accept the receipt over the quantity determines by the over receipt quantity control tolerance percentage, but does perform the receipt. So let's select that warning out here, and the tolerance percentage. So enter the quantity tolerance percentage, maximum receivable volume receivable over the receipt percentage, user by over receipt quantity control action attributes. For example, if the tolerance percentage is 5%, then the acceptable quantity for the receipt transaction is within the 5% of the quantity you order on the purchase order line. Any quantity more than 5% over the order quantity is unacceptable. So let's put the percentage out here, that is 5%. So so this is the purchase template. Similarly, you got a manufacturing out here, so that is a attributes. You had various attributes are there, so that is the attributes you can configure according to the needs. We have taken the purchasing template, so with the purchasing template I am providing the purchasing attributes out here, and we will then save and close. Let's save this. Let's save this. Go to the association out here. If you go to the association, so here the item master is, and we will associate our with the child. So select from here the add, select our org, that is ABC, search with that. This is my child org. Select this, say apply, say done. Go to overview, then save and close. So that is GD5. Let us navigate to the manage items, search with the item name as GD5, search. So you can see the item has been created. Let me drag a little bit. Yeah, so image has been, so it has been associated with my master, and now this is my child org, right? So this is the my child org. So item has been created, and you can validate. We are validating with the manage item. So if you see out here, that is, and similarly we can create the item under the, so let's create a one more. So select our master org, select our the root, that is computer green, search with the green desktop, and select the purchase item template, say OK. That will be start with the CD, right? So that is a computer desktop. So say that is IBM desktop. The item status is active, live phase as I provided as a active out here, and the packing, right, is on the base as a each, and it is item class is green desktop out here. So provide the long description IBM desktop with desktop all in one, and we can this is the mandate, what is the measuring unit of measurement. So that will be the each out here. I'm providing the each. So go to the specification. So in the purchasing attributes, so purchase should be yes. If you want a supplier, approved supplier only supply, then you will select the yes and no. And issue unit, I am selecting the issue unit as a each, and it's a hazardous, no it is not in a hazardous one. Default buyer, then you can provide the default buyer out here. So price range, the list price I will provide, that is related to your default price used in RFQ, purchase order, and on quotation. So let's say that is costing you $150, and the market price of this particular one then printed on the purchase order line. So that market price, it is so it is $250, right? So I will not providing any rounding effect, so let's say 0 as a rounding effect out here. And the matching level, so that is matching level is a 3-way. I will select the matching rule, I will select, and the receipt, and the routing method. The routing method will be on a standard. I'm selecting the standard method, and the data control, right? So that is enforce shipment. I say a warning should be there, and the receipt action, if it is a receipt control date, receipt action, so I will select as a warning again. And what will be the early days, so that early days is say 3 days and the 2 days. And the substitute allowed, say yes. Unordered receipts, and say no. And allow express transaction, I am not selecting that. And what is the action of over receipt control? It should be rejected, right? So it should be rejected, and without a percentage tolerance I am giving, it is rejected out here. And go to the association. So before going to the association, you can attach. Go to the attach out here. In the attachment, you can attach, let's say add attachment. So you can add the file, that is you can add the browsers related to that, or models related to that, the images out here, that details of drawing. These are various things you can add, right? So that will be in the repository or a folder you have, or through the file, or say text, or say URL, right? So that is the file you can add. And let me, so I can add the pics from here. So let me give the file, browse that file, go to the gallery out here. So that is all in one, that is all in one image. Say OK, say OK, and save this. Go to the association, go to the association. So let associate with our child dog, right? So select that association, select our child dog, that is ABC. So ABC New York stock, so that is, and apply, done, right? So you got a item created CD, this is the number, right? So this is the number. Save and close. From the task panel, manage item, search with the item. So it is associated with our child dog, and the, so this is my master and this is my child dog, where I will maintain the stock related to that. So this is about the item creation. Now let's how to create a copy. The next topic is, so if you see the next topic, see that is copy item and multiply the item creation. So that is, go to the create item. You can see out here the create copy from. The first I will select my master, so I will select the create, the item description. So select the item description, so that is say CD1, select that. So this is the item I will select, say OK. So what you want, that is you want to change the description of this particular one item, IBM desktop. So if it is item desktop, this is the you can see that is copy detail, that copy the attributes, then apply the template, and then there is a one that is you apply the template, you will select the template from here, then the copy the attributes. So I'm just selecting the attributes and then apply the template. Say continue. So all the things are been copied out here. So desktop, you can change the description related to that, IBM desktop, all in one, that is not IBM, that is a Dell, right? So Dell all in one. So everything has been copied out here. Select that, each has been copied. Go to the specification out here, so purchasing tab, so you can change, you can see that pricing out here, everything is copied, right? So that is price, if you want, say that is purchase price is 1 can provide that, and the method is same. Go to the, you can provide the pics out here, you can select the pictures. So browse again, let's give a browse. So this is the picture, say OK, say OK. Go to the association. So out here you can see that you can associate here with your, let's say this. So number has been generated, so add the association. Go to the association tab, associate with your child org, that is ABC, search with that. So this is my child org, select this, apply and done, and then save and close. And if you search from this particular manage item, let's search with the CD. So you can see the item has been created, Dell desktop. So this way you can create the item and you can associate the copy the item. So you can copy one item, that is a very useful when you are creating a similar item with all the parameters are same, right? So that is kind of a similar item you can create by copying that. And there is a one more, that is create item. So that is related to multiple items creation. So let me select the organization out here. So let's say that is creating the number of, so let is 2. I want to create number of new item to be created, that is multiple items it will create. And select the class, that is my gaming desktop. Select that gaming desktop, select the template. So let's say I use the finished goods template out here, say OK. So you can select the sequence generation, automatically it will sequence generation. I will provide the description out here, say that is gaming top, say Dell gaming desktop. Select the item status as an active, that is a life cycle as active. It's a finished template. You can provide the packing type as a each, and if you go out here you can provide the measurement of unit, that is each again. The long description you can provide, that is the same I am providing, the Dell gaming desktop, that is 15 inches wide. And out here the specification, you can go to the specification. So that is on the purchasing. So purchasing is yes. If you want the purchasing to be used, you can provide the purchasing as a yes, right? So that kind of attributes you can provide. Say inventory, go to the inventory out here, the inventory item is yes, and other details I don't want to change out here. You can associate, so you can associate, so that is out here. Let me complete this one also. So Dell, so let's see, this is a gaming desktop, that is HP gaming desktop. Select the item as a active, the unit price as a each, and go to the overview. So select as a each out here, and let me change that as a HP 13 white. Right, save this. Okay, go to the association. Let me associate the first one, associate with my org, that is ABC. So select this one, say apply, done. Select this one, add this from here, ABC. This is my child org, done. Save and close. Let me check with that sequence generation. Okay, so sequence generation we had taken a different one. So automatic sequence generation, so we have not taken the automatic sequence generation, that is a sequence generation error, generating 1 and 2. So how it should be generated, we have selected that sequencing generation as a manual one, right? So that is sequence generation we had to provide. Let me share this one. Let me say primary unity requires this primary unit. Just a minute. And is a unique measurement in the sequence 2. Just a minute. And not provided out here. Just check. Let me check this one. Yeah, that is out here. So that is the primary generation. Okay. We have provided the sequence. So item gets generated. Let me save and close. Let me go to this manage items. Let me search with the GD. So that is the gaming we have created. So this is the item we have created out here, right? So that is item we have created with the two items we had created simultaneously, right? So that is the, you can create multiple items using that. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining this webinar, that is getting started with Oracle supply chain and manufacturing.
Thank you so much, Sumit. Thank you. Nice to you.